Welcome to the Racecourse. We're here for a kind of mini sports slash Christmas sports, a bit of a combination here today.
So this race is the first flat race of the day, and it's called the MKM Challenge, over 600 yards. 4 horses are up there at the start. 3 of them are former Governor's Cup winners. We have Storm Chaser, the veteran. We have Indian Express. We have King Kenny, the present Governor's Cup winner. I think he's won it 4 times, ridden and owned by Tim Bonner. And Darcy, ridden by Colin Summers. So good to see 4 horses contest this first meeting. They are away and running, and I think Storm Chaser was the slowest one away. At the moment it looks like Indian Express with Stefan on board, just ahead of King Kenny, but I think King Kenny is probably coming through now. They've still got 300 to run, and it's King Kenny and it's Indian Express, these 2 in the lead. King Kenny, Indian Express, Storm Chaser. Darcy's fallen back a little bit. It's still King Kenny in the middle of the racecourse. And it's now Indian Express, but here's King Kenny and Indian Express. They're coming together for the line, and it's just King Kenny by half a length from Indian Express, and Storm Chaser came in there third, a little bit behind, and now Colin's coming through on Darcy. He made the entries, good on him. So that's the 4. It was a close run thing between King Kenny and Indian Express, the 2 recent Governor's Cup winners. And as they went past the line, I don't think there's any doubt that Tim Bonner took it by about half a length on King Kenny.
So the race we're on at the minute is Decor Services Trot, and in this we have Running Brave, and we've got Mystic ridden by Colin Summers, we've got Spirit being ridden by Timmy Bonner and owned by Declan Bonner, and we've got Moonshine being ridden by Sammy Davis, and we've got Cochise, and we've got 8 Seconds being ridden by Nick Davis and owned by Nick Davis as well. We've also got Whiskey Gig being ridden by Morris Davis. He's up there on the course, an extra entry in that, so he is not on the tote. This is a mile long, this race. So they start basically at the finish line, and they have to go all the way up the course and come all the way back down. So they're up there in the course at the moment. It appears that quite a few have broken trot, and there may have been somebody that dismounted and then got back on, I think. But not 100% sure. They are right at the other end of the course there. Of course, we've got houses all at the other end now, so we can actually see where the other end is, with obviously the Pale Maiden Crescent being built on and everything like that. It's changing the look from up here in the commentary box for the racecourse. So after this, we should be having the See Me Do It Cup, and after that it should be over to the Governor's Cup as well. By the looks of it, coming back up the course, I think it may be Timmy in the lead at the moment, and it's quite a lead, I have to say. The rest of them aren't very visible at all, but I may be wrong in this. They appear red from where I'm standing, but it may be one of the younger riders, just seeing as they're coming up close. But no, I do believe it is Timmy by the looks of the stature on the horse. And so Timmy's riding Spirit. Yes, it is Timmy Bonner coming up here on Spirit. Spirit looking very good there, coming up to the finish line. Always been a good horse at the trot, Spirit. Looking up the course, we've got 3, I think it's Colin on the outside rail, so closer to where all the food is and the North Grandstand. And we've got 1 in the centre, and I think it may be Morris on the inside rail on Whiskey Gig. But Whiskey Gig, as we said, is not on the tote. It was a late entry into this race. Looks like Morris is comfortably riding up there. It may be Nia Greenland in the middle. I'm not 100% sure until they get a bit closer. Featuring a white hat, which actually looks from this distance like it's got a plume on it, but I don't think it probably does. Just trying to have a look here as they're coming up. Colin's on that north fence coming up, so I think he will be crossing that line first. It may be Meg, actually. I think it is Meg, yep. So Colin's coming, oh, broke trot, so Morris just taking the second there, and Meg taking third there. Even though she doesn't, yeah, Megan Summers are riding Running Brave, owned by Michael Minnell. Usually ridden by Donna Minnell is Running Brave. We see him quite often out at Goose Green, always does well in the trots there. But because Whiskey Gig is not actually on the tote, technically the finishing for this race would be first place Spirit Timmy Bonner, second place would go to Megan Summers on Running Brave, and third place going to Colin Summers with Mystic. But obviously Whiskey Gig with Morris Davies was in second place there, but not on the tote as he was a late entry into this race. We're on the See Me Do It Cup, which was meant to run at 10:15. Because of the wet weather yesterday, it's been moved around a wee bit. And we've got 4 entries into this. We've got Feelin' Dippy with Morris Davis, and we've got Miss Callie owned by Colin Summers and owned by Jake Summers, and we've got Royal Rocket ridden by Timmy Bonner and owned by Bobby Shore and Raymond Evans. And then we have Tipperary being ridden by Dominic Watson, and that's owned by Lachlan Croy. This race is over 500 yards. King Kenny's already won the previous race here today, which was the MKM Challenge race. He won that one earlier on, and most of the riders are the same as were in that race that was earlier today, but it'll be interesting to see how Royal Rocket for Timmy Bonner performs in this. After this we should have the Governor's Cup in quite quick succession, so fingers crossed we can get a good start on this race here this afternoon, so that the Governor is here to witness the Governor's Cup. And they're off, and looked like Miss Callie had a good start. She's on the north rail. Colin seems to favour that north rail. It does look like Morris had a good start as well. He's coming up the course well on Feeling Dippy. Feeling Dippy's always done quite well, but it looks like the Royal Rocket is right on his heels, but it looks like Feeling Dippy is going to hold on to this as they're coming up the course. Feeling Dippy's definitely out in front, so Morris in the front at the moment, closely followed by Royal Rocket, and yep, that is the position of 1 and 2, and third place there going to Royal Rocket, and fourth place going to Tipperary. So just in the order there is almost exactly as I've got it written. It's Feeling Dippy with Morris Davies owned by Elaine Watson in first place there. Then we had Royal Rocket with Timmy Bonner owned by Bobby Short and Raymond Evans. And then we had Miss Callie owned by Jake Summers and ridden by his father Colin Summers. So we've got 4 entries into this race. We've got Indian Express owned and ridden by Stephen Turner. We've got Tia Maria owned and ridden by Colin Summers. And we've got King Kenny being ridden and owned by Timmy Bonner. And then we've got Storm Chaser, who's a bit of the odd one out, owned by Lisa Watson and ridden by Dominic Watson. So they are the 4 entries into the Governor's Cup today. Probably the favourite on the tote has got to be King Kenny. But Storm Chaser and Indian Express are not two to really sniff at either. And even then, Tia Maria has pulled some fast ones out at certain points as well. So it's one of them, it's always anybody's race. But I can see King Kenny probably going in as the tote favourite. King Kenny has obviously won this previously. This is a 700-yard race. So they've got quite a distance to cover, which is usually one of the reasons why it's so sort of coveted, is because it is one of them. It's a test of endurance as well as speed for these horses, and the sort of control that the jockey has on them as they're coming up that line, and great fun to watch as well. And I believe they might be off. We finally have a go on it. By the looks of it, King Kenny got a good start. I can see the red of Timmy as he's moving around. Colin's closest to me, he's closest to the 7 rail here. And I think King Kenny's more closer to the fence, and he may be just a way to be blocked in slightly. But as they're coming up quite fast. We've got 2 more in the centre running along the course, which I believe might be Indian Express is on the far rail closest. It looks like it's going to be between Indian Express and King Kenny. Indian Express is actually quite a bit out in front. It could be Indian Express, but I think King Kenny just got that at the end. They were neck and neck, but I think King Kenny just managed to pull a wee bit in front of that as they got to the end. Sadly though, because the other 2 were so close to this inside rail, the southern rail of the racecourse, I couldn't actually see which one of them crossed the rail. It's actually blocked by the little partition that sits out the front, so I can't see who actually got third place in that. But first place in the Governor's Cup went to King Kenny, ridden by Timmy Bonner. Second place to Stephen Turner riding Indian Express.